All right, so I just wanted to do a trade recap real quick. It's Tuesday, September 2nd. Market was closed yesterday for Labor Day. Yeah, looking at the market from this pre market screenshot, we had a nice downside move last night. Price was in this little balance beforehand, got this nice push down. So, what I was looking for was if the first thing I was pretty much watching for was if market rejects 6410 or opens up weak, I will look for ways to short into 6375. Because to me, this is weak. If there's signs of weakness at open, I think it can keep going at least into this key support level. So I was watching for like if price came up here and had a hard rejection, possibly look for shorts, or if price could break the low, with aggression to possibly look for retests for shorts into the support level. And then my other plan was if we did push strongly above the 6410 level, I would then look for longs. But what I planned for did not really happen, and I got a trade based off of kind of the context switching. So we open up strong, get that low of day break. And this is where I start this is where I'd usually be looking for possibly a short entry on the retest. You can see that price never really got much of a break. It broke the 87 level by 4 or 5 points, which is not much at all for today's volatility, and then had this aggressive retest up, which at this point I'm still not really too certain that it's going to reverse higher. But then when this aggression comes in and fails above this low of the area, and there was very aggressive buying right here, to me, that's saying, or that's kind of showing me that this downward pressure is now easing off, and there's a chance that price might pump a little bit. So we'll look at that real quick just on the book map. See it better, see the aggression that I've been talking about. So we get that very aggressive sell-off at open, breaks that 87 level, large seller right here, unable, or I guess two large selling attempts, unable to push lower, excuse me. And then this aggressive retest up, still not looking bearish, or bullish yet, excuse me. Then aggressive retest comes down right into this heavy bid area where there was some previous large orders filled, and pops up. At this point, I'm starting to think that this is bullish, and I want to possibly look for ways to get long. So first entry, I took 2 entries. First entry was based off of this bid right here, and one second, and this this heavy positive delta at the 6392 level. So I saw this possible buyer here, 6392, and along with that, you can see a large buyer coming in here. That's probably where that delta imbalance got created. And then an aggressive seller fills this bid and doesn't get the push lower. In fact, it immediately has a reactive push higher. And then price retests, lower volume on this retest compared to this retest. Retest, that is retest. And then on this buying reaction, I get long. I get a little push, and I get stopped out on this move down. But one last thing about this entry is with this positive delta right here, with this bid sitting here, getting filled on an aggressive sell-off and having that reaction, I'm starting to think there's a passive buyer here. I'm thinking someone, after we've already got the context that this entry was in here. After we've already got the context that we're starting to look bullish, we've had this failed break. We've now made a higher low, but it's not the higher low itself, it's the aggression that I've explained earlier based on the order flow. And then now we're seeing possible passive buyer right here, heavy delta, bid getting filled, and I'm thinking that I can get an entry here, stop loss just below this wick to get a nice push up. and it was a good entry. We got a decent move, but then got stopped out, and it's trading. Look for the next opportunity. So now we get a retest a little bit lower with very aggressive selling. Fills this thick bid, very similar to here. It gets absorbed, and immediate buying comes off of that. At this point, I try this one more time with a stop loss down below this level, down below that bid. I believe my stop loss was 8.6, just right below this candle, with the 9.2 entry. So I didn't even get the best fill on this because that buying was so aggressive coming off of that bid filling. 6 point risk on this. The volatility is definitely higher today than what it has been. However, I get in. Where's 9.2s? Somewhere right around here. Probably hit buy right in here and got filled up here, just with how fast it happened. Yeah. Passive buyer right here when we see this bid getting filled on and absorbing this aggressive seller and buying coming off of that. That's just someone is sitting right here possibly wanting to buy the market. Looking on the depth of market, this bounce happened right at the 88s. The low of it was 88. 87.87s, I should say. And there was kind of a low volume node here, but nothing really enough to get anything based on that depth of market, anything clear, super clear. It was really just that absorption, this really aggressive sell-off filling this bid, failed to break lower, push lower, and the buying coming off of that. Really good bullish signal based on the context and based on where we were at this chart. The other thing is, which I didn't even see this at first, but Carmine pointed it out. I was watching his recap after of his trade he took today, which he got long. I believe he got long like right down here. He got a really good entry and held through that and got long, or got the same push. But that very aggressive or large orders that came through here, and then that retest, and then that retest on this heavy bid, kind of gives a little bit more weight to that bid that was sitting there, just because it like appeared when this heavy orders came in, and then it defended that as well. Retest. All right, but here's that first entry, 93.5, 4.75 points on that. Not too bad at all, especially with this next one risking 6 points, 9.2s. First exits. My first exit was at 6.02, just because that was kind of right here at this rejection area right before the market opened. That was before 2R. But then the rest of these were taken at 2R or above. 604 was 2R. Got out most of these on limits and one market sell. And then this was my next target, 6410. And then from there, I was kind of just trailing. 10 a.m. news came out. We got a nice push, and I was able to capitalize a little bit more on that. I did leave about 9 points on the table there on this last one. Could have gotten a little bit better of a trail, but that's a stupid thing to say, because this thing could have just kept ripping and I would have kept my stop there. Other times I get it, and I'm not gonna complain about a quick math 22ish 21ish point scale out. I'm not gonna be mad about that. That ended up being 2.47R. First one, negative 1R, obviously. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to start the week after Labor Day. Just putting it together. Context, thought it was going to be weak below this level, and it wasn't. Once I saw this sell-off fail, that really confirmed that context, that we're going to be bullish. So I'm looking for location. First entry, I saw a nice bid area along with that heavy positive delta. And then I got good confirmation there when I saw seller absorption. Got a little move, failed. So next entry, same exact context. This time the location is just a little bit lower, but at that heavy bid, that very key heavy bid from that developed on this buy-in and held on this initial retest. And then my confirmation again was that bid getting filled by a very aggressive seller, absorbing it, and then the buying reaction off of it, pushing up into a reclaim of the 6,410s where price accepted for a little bit, and now we're selling off a bit. So we'll see what happens, but that's going to be it for me today. Peace.